Welcome to the first 50 rows of the right front of the Ruffle sweater. Welcome back. We're going to finish knitting the sweater, so let's start at 25 left, 35 right, we will now very carefully put these stitches back on the machine. Without any issues this time. I'm going to take that claw weight again. Just so that it stops moving. Make sure all of your stitches are forward. Latches are open. You don't want to struggle. Now, you should only get to 55 stitches before you run out of stitches, because we're going to E-wrap 5 more stitches, which is the fold over of that button band. Okay, and this is it for the garter bar use. We're done. This is the maximum width of this piece, so we can put the weights back on very carefully. And we shouldn't have to worry about it. From here on in, we should be able to reduce the amount of weight as we go. We will also be doing buttonholes. And I have another step for the button band. And I have to mark where we sew the fold over. We have a different way of marking that as well. So what you're going to do is you're going to grab lots of contrast yarn and a little needle this time. And we are going to go through the purl bump of the stitch below. so that we have the thread going in every second stitch, but just the purl bump, not laying it over the needles this time. So grab a marker, grab some waste yarn, and come back. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we are going to E-wrap 31, 32, 33, 34, and 35. We also need that same weight bar that we used last time. To make sure that it knits acceptably. Okay, so that's step one. We know that unit 30 is our fold over. We know unit 27, 25, 26, 27 is buttonhole number 1. And we know that 32, is it 32? 31, 32. Oh, I said 33. 25, 26. Yeah, it is. It's 33. So stitch 33 is buttonhole number 2. Because we have to make 2 buttonholes to make a buttonhole on either side of the thingamajig. Either side of the fold over. We also know that 25 we need to mark. And I'm going to start marking 25 right now with this little contrast. I'm going to go through purl bump number 1 because the carriage is on the right. And I'm just going to pull this through that purl bump. And then I'm going to use a simple clip. And I'm just going to clip it to that side. So now when I knit across, I have a lot to remember. I have a lot to do. So we're going to use both camera angles to show what I'm doing as I'm doing it so that nothing gets missed this time. Alright, so this is row 1. I'm going to do my best not to hit anything. We're going to knit across very carefully for that first row. It's going to be a little hard. Okay, everything's looking pretty good. As soon as I get this one all established, then we will change the weight to something way lighter. Going across. And that should be all we need to do. Okay. Changing that up. Making sure that knits through. Move that forward. Now we're just going to knit through the purl bump, stitch 25. Pull it all the way through. Okay. Take our clip. Clothespin. And just clip that there. Now with stitch number 30, we actually will be starting to purl it here. Well, I think we can purl it now. So we're going to go through the hole. Bring it forward, bring it back, pull it down, and now we will purl. 1 and purl. we're not going to purl it every 2 rows. We're just going to purl it about every 10 or so rows. Come back, purl, come back, purl. Okay? I know that doesn't make any sense, but when we go to do the fold over, it'll make it totally flat, and it'll be amazing. We have 5 more rows, so let's go. Now you don't want to go through the purl bump every single row, because otherwise it won't actually be connected. So every second, just like we did before. Don't want that to be tangled up. You don't want it to be tight. This is our last row, and then we do a buttonhole. Okay, so let's do our purl first. So unit 30, not unit 30, needle 30. Drop it, latch it up. Okay. To do a buttonhole, we need to determine how big we need to make it. So we take one of our buttons and we put it on the machine. It looks like 3, so 2. So if we are supposed to put it here at 27, and we want to have a little bit of, I want to say, meat to it. So what we're going to do is we're going to transfer 27 onto 28. Look at it again. That's pretty tight. So we're going to actually go 26 onto 25. So fairly wide. You know what? That's going to be way too tight. So we'll just leave it at 1. No worries. And we'll do the same on the other side where we will go inward. I'm quite sure that we will make it work. Now bring those empty needles out forward. And knit. That hole will close itself. Not a big deal. Make sure that we go through that purl bump. Mark it. And now we knit across again. One, 2, go through, 1, 2, go through. Pretty easy, but a lot neater. We have 10 more rows to knit. before our next buttonhole. One, two, one, two, one, two. This is row 20. We have 3 more rows before we do our buttonhole. One, two, and 1. Okay, so now we're going to do our buttonhole again. So let's put this stitch aside, grab our transfer tool, stitch 27 towards the inside, towards the outside, so towards stitch 30, stitch 33 towards stitch 32, latch tool, drop stitch 30, all the way down, come on, and now latch it up. Make sure you bring forward your buttonholes. Put your tool away and continue knitting. One, while we have the buttonhole here, let's just put this through. It's a little tight, but I'd rather have it just a little bit tight than not be able to actually hold the button. So we'll consider this a win. Going across. 1, 2, and those buttonholes are closed. Consider it like a lace transfer. 1, 2, 1, 2, it's not a hard project. Everything is looking pretty good. I'm just going to release some of the stress on this. We have 4 more rows before we do another buttonhole. 1, 2, 1 and 2. Alrighty. So we mark the fold over where it's going to be seamed. Very carefully latch up stitch 30, and then we do our buttonholes. Toward 30 and toward 30. Forward and forward. Now we knit. One, two, mark. Now this method of marking, I wish I had thought of it sooner. It's a lot easier than what we did on the other side. 1, 2. It's a lot neater, and it'll be really easy to pull out when we're all done. And you can totally see the purl bump that you were trying to sew onto. Ten more rows, and then we will call this this video completed. So this is row 50. We have we have 4 more rows to knit, and then we do our button band. Oh, buttonhole. Wow, I'm getting ahead of myself. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Lots going on in this one. That's marked. Oop. Almost dropped the wrong one. Number 30. Come on. Come apart. Not sure what exactly was happening there. Nice and neat. Alright, so our buttonhole towards 30. Towards 30. Bring it forward. Knit across. And that is the end of this video. Alright, looks like I forgot to press record. So these 50 rows we did buttonholes going towards the stitch 30, towards stitch 30, brought them out and they knit off. My bad. Because this is now row actually 55, we're ending the video and we're going to start in another video for the next 50 rows.